Ladies and gentlemen, Caravan fans, welcome to the first edition and episode of Mount Carmel's official new podcast built on Dante. My name is Matt Malloy. I am the play-by-play announcer for Mount Carmel football and basketball. I'm here joined with my color commentator, Christos Dimas. Christos, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know, it's been eventful here at Mount Carmel in the third trimester. And, to start off on how this podcast came to be, earlier in our sophomore year, I went to get Culver's one day, right? I went to get it with my family. And Mr. Noel Bax was the one that took my order. And he recognized me. He saw me with my Carmel shirt on, and he said, "Are you Matt Malloy?" And I go, "I am, yes." And, I thought it was just an alumni from the neighborhood. I didn't know that he would soon be working here at Mount Carmel. And he gave us the idea to start a podcast, maybe a weekly update of some sort, because, not everybody in the Mount Carmel community is here every day like we are. We come in early and we leave late, but that's not the case for a lot of people. So we just want to give you an update on what's been happening here at Mount Carmel, and what better time to start than right now. It's been very eventful, and I want to start in the arts department. When Mr. Proberg, Casey Proberg, came in at the start of this year, he really wanted to just improve the arts and drama program here, and he really completed that goal by putting on 3 great performances over the past weekend, April 19th through the 21st. They put in 3 great performances of a separate piece. Christos, I know I saw you there on Friday night. Your sort of brother, I guess we'll call him, Leonard Siegel, was one of the leads of the play. They all did a fantastic job. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it was a great play. A separate piece. It's basically based in an all-boys private academy in the East Coast. I forget what state it was exactly, maybe like New Hampshire or something.
Yeah.
And it's during World War II, right? So it goes through kind of all the young men there sort of having that drive to join the war effort, and a lot of conflicting emotions as well for one of the main characters that wasn't able to join because of his limp, his bum leg.
Yeah.
And it was a very well done play. How they set it up, they had it in the student section, and they had the play area kind of in the middle, cutting the audience in half, which I thought was really neat. And the set was fantastic, audio, lighting, everything. All the cast did a great job. There's some good actors out there. Especially, talk about a guy like Mr. Baffo, who has a lot of experience with that. When he was at Carmel here, he was a lead cast member in many plays, and he's done a lot in terms of like the arts area. I'd say whether it's journalism, play, whatever. What did you think about that, Matt, with Mr. Baffo?
When he first came out and he had that accent, I don't even know what kind of accent it was, some type of East Coast thing. I mean, he killed it, though, right? All the actors did. Somebody I want to mention specifically, though, is Jason Isaias. Leonard is a very charismatic guy, and so acting kind of comes naturally to him. But after talking with Mr. Baffo and other guys in the play, Jason, he's one of the leads along with Leonard, and he kind of had to be taken out of his shell a little bit. He had to step out of his comfort zone, and there's this one scene where Leonard and Jason, they're kind of arguing, emotions are running high, and Jason just screams at Leonard, "I'm sorry." And it was powerful, right? Because Jason is this quiet kid. He doesn't say much, whether it's in class or out of class. I actually met him on the first day of our freshman year. I remember I had gym class with him, and at first he seemed very quiet, but as soon as I started talking to him, he was very friendly. And, I've kept that friendship throughout the past 2 and whatever years, almost 3 now. I can't believe we're about to be seniors. That's a whole different thing. But Jason really stepped out of his comfort zone, and the acting was absolutely incredible from both him and the rest of the crew. And we got to give a shout-out to all those musicians. Michael Pinelli sang a song each night. He has a great voice. A lot of guys playing guitar, playing the drums. James McCormick, our guy, was head of the crew, lights and just stage production in general. So a shout out to all the guys. That's something really hard to do. in front of a big crowd like that. There was a lot of teachers there Friday night when you and I went. I'm not sure how the crowd was Saturday or Sunday. I'm sure we can
I
talk
think
to
it
them.
went up a bit,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
I think it went up a bit, especially on Sunday, especially because the timing there is at 2 in the afternoon. So, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's really great that the arts department is back. You know, as somebody who's involved in media here at Mount Carmel, it's nice to see that we're becoming a lot more diverse. So I'm proud of all those guys. They put on a great performance from what I saw Friday night, and I'm sure they did a great job Saturday and Sunday too. Moving on, though, the play, right, happened in the spring, the spring play. Talking about spring, we earned warm weather dress code through the walkathon. We needed a certain amount here. I'm going to pull it up.
80,000,
Yeah,
I
we
believe.
needed 80,000. We surpassed that. So that started on Monday. We're in warm weather dress code. Our next incentive is we need $90,000. We're at just over $86,000 right now. We need $90K to get half day Fridays in May. Mr. Haggerty is my studium teacher, and he has told us that he really wants that, and he is pushing us to just keep sending out the links and everything. So, but the walkathon is on Friday, but the donations close on May 18th. So we still have time after the walkathon. I know that our freshman year, 2 years ago, was the first time we ever got the 105% goal, which moves finals back a week. And then we got it again next year. So those are the only 2 times in the history of the walkathon where the finals have actually been moved back. I talked to my uncle about that, and I was kind of shocked when he told me that. So he told me that donations went up in the past couple of years. This year it's been a little bit slower. So teachers are still looking for kids to send out those links. We're still looking to raise some money. If we do reach that 105,000% goal, exams will be moved to May 29th, 30th, and the 31st, meaning we don't have to come to school in June, which is something I would like to do. I would not like to come to school in June, so we're definitely pushing for that. The other incentives we have after Half Day Fridays in May is at $95,000. We will earn May 24th off, so we will have a 4-day Memorial Day weekend. And then when we reach $100,000, we will have early dismissal beginning May 14th. So we'll get out at 1:30 instead of 2:40. So that's all for the walkathon. I know you and I will be running it. This is my first year running it. I don't really know what to expect. I'm not much of a runner, honestly. The sports I play are golf and volleyball. There's not that much stamina, I guess, involved or much. But I started running a few months back. I ran 6 miles on Sunday night, and I'm looking to prepare for it. I don't know about you, though. You probably haven't prepared much just because you have cross country going. That'll probably carry you the rest of the way, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm in club basketball right now, so I'm kind of just relying on that. I think I'll go for a run, for my first actual run since cross country season tomorrow. Just kind of map out the landscape, get a feel for the terrain, Matt, if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I ran it freshman year. I was lucky enough to beat Coach Burke by about 10 seconds, so I got that $100 reward. But Coach Burke is usually probably the front guy there. Maybe you'll see TJ Kolke or a freshman, Nolan Esquivel, might be up in the ranks this year as well. We got some runners, though. We also got some wrestlers like Jay Acuna. Wrestlers are always like right there just because, I mean, from a sports standpoint, I think wrestling is probably the most conditioned sport.
I mean, they're up there running on the track.
Yeah,
Before every single game we announced for basketball, they were up there on the track for a long time just running. So I know what you mean by that, yeah.
But, it's 6 miles, Matt, so this is your first time, just going to go on the lakefront, going to navigate some Obama Library construction. And once you get to the lake, though, it's awesome. View, I'll tell you what, I hate running, but running on the lake is actually, like, one of the best things you can do, like, mentally, I feel like. It's kind of like a stress reliever, and it kind of just, like, keeps your focus. You just get to focus on your breathing and kind of take in the view. You see the skyline, you see the lake, you see people out everywhere right there, and Hyde Park going northbound. You might run in the University of Chicago cross-country team, try and stay with them, and
Yeah.
it's a really nice environment.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a stress reliever. I think some of these guys are going to need it because Saturday night is fight night. It's a huge night. The bouts last year, I think they weren't as impressive as they're going to be this year. I think this year we're going to have some incredible fights, some incredible fighters. We have 14 in total. There will be 7 before intermission, 7 after. Some heavyweight fights in there. I'm really excited, from freshmen to seniors, from kids in the sailing club to the chess team to the football pro. Like, there are kids from all over, and that makes fight night really special. We got to shout out our guy Rocco. He has told us time and time again to shout out this night. It's one of the biggest nights for Mount Carmel of the year. He's told us to shout it out through the Caravan Broadcast Network, so we just got to say that. Yeah.
And a big shout-out to our guy Clem DeLuca, who is a big supporter of the Broadcast Network. Actually, he had a sit-down with us last time I saw him when he was in from Florida, I believe. But he's a huge Mount Carmel supporter and a huge media group supporter. For those of you who don't know, Mr. DeLuca is the what's the official title, right? The announcer, the guy.
The ring announcer.
Yeah, the ring announcer.
Yeah. He'll be in there. He's such a nice guy.
He's a great guy.
He came in and he talked to us just about the live stream for football. I believe we saw him at the Batavia game, which was an incredible football game. A great memory there. It was a great night to see him. So if you are unable to make it Saturday night, just know that we are going to be streaming all 14 bouts, and we're going to have some interviews in there. We're going to be streaming the entire night here on the Caravan Broadcast Network, and that'll do it for Fight Night as far as our game plan goes. So the rest of the weekly update, we're just going to focus on sports here. A lot has happened this week. I'm going to start off here. Just very, very impressive. 2 juniors committed. I guess in the past 2 weeks, I'll say Jack Elliott, the quarterback, committed to Vanderbilt, and Javi Payne committed to Eastern Illinois University. Great for them. I remember meeting those guys freshman year, and you kind of build a bond with them, and now to see them, they have their future set up, right? And they have the next 4 years after Mount Carmel set up, so great for them. But they also have 1 more year left to play here. So, guys are already getting ready, and we're proud of them. We're proud to see that they've committed. I'm not going to lie, though, when Jack committed, when Javi committed, he actually told me that he was going to commit soon. I'm in his studium, and he was kind of telling kids, like, I might post something soon. Like, he was teasing it a little bit, but Jack, I was kind of shocked. I was a little bit surprised that he committed this early, and especially to Vanderbilt, because he got the commit, and then 6 days later he made the post on social media and made it official and everything. So I'm excited, though, for next year. I mean, we have an SEC-bound quarterback, which is something not a lot of schools, even around here, can say. And, Chicago football, for high school, it's very, very good. Like, look at we've kids like Jack Lausch, right? From Brother Rice. Even though we have some bad memories there, I guess. There's a lot of prospects that come out of Chicago, so it's great to see that we're kind of continuing that tradition. Yeah.
Yeah, and as long as we're talking about some commitments, there's some other recent commitments. Let's talk about some of the wrestlers, right? Colin Kelly just recommitted. He was originally for wrestling. He was originally committed to Wisconsin. Now he's committed to U of I for wrestling. Absolute stud.
Yeah.
Right? He's 2-time state champion. They've won 2 team state championships here as well for wrestling. But that guy's gonna do some things over in Champaign. I'll tell you that. He's something. Also, Rylan Breen for wrestling just committed to NC State. Rylan, I believe, placed maybe 5th this year in individuals. Mm-hmm. Good wrestler, got a lot of length. One of those lanky, kind of skinnier guys that kind of gets good control on there. And then also let's talk about one of our basketball players, Lee Trey Marks, just committed to Cloud State, St. Cloud. St. Cloud, D2 program in Minnesota. I'll say a few words about Lee. Lee is a great teammate for, those of you that watched last year. He showed some hints of greatness. I think on any other team, he'd probably be the number one guy
Yeah.
if there wasn't Angelo. And, obviously he had that injury, Matt, for 2 months. And through that injury, he was our number one supporter. He was always giving feedback and whatnot. He was always cheering us on at practices. He never missed a day. He was just fully committed to Caravan basketball, and it was great to see him play those last 2 games in semis and state. I would say a big part of our win in the semifinal was Lee, because when we switched him onto their big man in the second half, he held him to 1 point, and we kind of took it off the road there. So it's just a great season, great teammate, great guy, and I'm expecting a lot of big things from him at St. Cloud. I think they'll find out what they got in their hands pretty soon here.
That's definitely something I'll remember for a while, is heading down to the semifinal game. There was a lot of talks of whether or not Trey would start or whether he would even play. So when he finally got in and he played well, I mean, he had a really good game. The student section was cheering for him. That's something that I like to see, because when he got hurt, right away it was kind of like season ending. We're probably not going to see him. That's his time at Mount Carmel. He's done. And so for him to fight back through that injury, that's great for him. And congrats to all those other guys that committed. We're going to move on to baseball. After their Vegas trip, they came back, and they caught a few wins, including a very big one yesterday against DePaul. They won 17-4. Matt Murphy had 2 hits off of 3 at-bats, 2 RBIs as well, and they played DePaul again tomorrow. The baseball team, they've been doing pretty good. A couple losses here and there, including 2 to Providence most recently. But overall, a pretty solid year. They're a very young team, and they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say it's about half sophomores, Matt, and especially their pitching rotation. Right, they got Ian Tosi, Connor Allentenny, and Jake Matisse. So 3 sophomores right there.
Yeah.
It's a little shaky this year compared to what we're used to, I guess, with baseball. But I mean, next year and the year after should be very strong for these sophomores as they rise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As for volleyball, we went out to Latin. That was an away game yesterday, and we won in the first 2 sets. But our captain and setter, Michael O'Keefe, was out. He got his wisdom teeth removed on Monday. And that kind of threw our game plan off. We weren't sure what was going to happen, but we adjusted correctly, and we still got the win. I think he's practicing today. I think he should be back. So, the program isn't doing that solid this year. We have 2 freshmen starting, so some young talent there, Mihailo Popovich and Mick Carr. They're doing really good. They're fitting in well. We've made a bond with them. And the wins didn't really come at the beginning of the year, but I think yesterday was a great testament to how we're just going to keep fighting. We're not giving up. We're not just going to push it off till next year when we can just kind of rebuild and get some new kids or whatever. So this is a big story, though. Mr. Perlberg, he was getting ready for the play last Friday night. It was going to be the first performance, and he heard a huge roar from the pool down the hallway, because Caleb McClure had a double overtime goal to end it and beat St. Ignatius. Now, something about the water polo team is it probably wasn't going to be a thing this year. There was not a lot of interest in the program. Caleb was pretty much the only kid running around asking if people wanted to play. And so for them to come together and find a coach, that I've heard that was an issue too. They were kind of struggling to find a coach, and now you beat a rival in double overtime. That's fantastic. The final score of that game was 22-21, and what I love even more is that I saw Caleb the next day, and I asked him how the game went, and the only thing he told me was that they won. I learned later on in the day from other people that he had a double overtime goal to end it. So, shout out to Caleb, great kid, super humble. Never really talks about how good he is. He's a great swimmer. Great aquatic athlete, so shout out to Caleb McClure. Christos, how's the lacrosse program doing?
Matt, It's seen better days. We've had really big group of talented guys the last couple of years, especially last year's senior class and the class before that. This year was a little lighter, and it doesn't help that we've had some injuries, such as junior Ryan Clark, who tore his ACL earlier in the season. That was a big loss for them. Even Coach McGuire has an injury. You can see him on the sidelines in a scooter, kind of just running around there. They played Carmel Catholic, lost in OT. Then they played, one of the best teams in the state, maybe the best in the team state, which is Loyola, and they lost 16-0. So it's definitely a little shaky this year.
Yeah.
But freshman David Rosner is really stepping up for the Caravan, as well as sophomore Rylan Supergassi, who I hear is actually very good. So they have some good young pieces, Matt.
A common theme I see in a lot of these spring athletic programs is they're all young. A lot of these teams have some great young talent, most notably the baseball team with kids like Joey Ireland and Ian Tossies. But, even lacrosse too. David Rosner, I think he has the most goals on the team. Ryan Clark was probably on track to have the most. He was playing great through 2 or 3 games, and then he got injured in the Chesterton game. Tore his ACL, but he's getting better every day. Went to the doctor. He set a date for his surgery. It'll be after school's over. It'll be in June. So that's kind of a moment where when one of your best players is injured, one of your captains, and your coach, and some other kids as well, they're all injured. That's kind of when you just come together and you do start thinking about next year, but you also put it in the hands of those younger guys and say, just go play your best, right? We're not expecting you to have this great record. I believe they're 2-7 right now, but honestly, with all those guys out, that kind of makes sense, right? They weren't expecting that a few months ago, right? A few months ago, if you told me that Clark would be out, McGuire would be out, all these other kids would be out, I'd be surprised. Yeah, Daler, he's been out for a while, so lacrosse, they're still holding it together. They haven't given up yet, obviously. They're still getting wins in overtime to teams like Carmel Catholic, so they're hanging in there. Some other programs that are hanging in there are tennis. They play Fenwick tomorrow. That'll be a home match. Rugby plays Morton West on Friday. That'll be after the walkathon. That's an away match, so they'll head out there. Track has a meet today against Ignatius at Ignatius, and then they're going to head out to Rita next Wednesday on May 1st. And then something new here regarding sports. The Bass Fishing Club had their first official tournament today at Cal Sag Trail. I apologize if I'm saying that incorrectly, but I believe it's
Cal Sag.
Cal Sag Trail. So Connor Dukes went out there. A couple other guys went out there just for a bass fishing tournament. I'm not really sure how that works. Maybe they weigh the fish. I think that's how it goes.
That's how it works.
I think they weigh the fish. I'm not a big fishing guy. I'm sure our guy Logan Wagner can tell us a little more.
Yep.
He's a big fisherman. He's also a part of the Caravan Media Group. So that's it for our sports recap, though. We hope you enjoyed this first episode of Built on Dante, a Mount Carmel podcast. If you have any topics of interest you want to share with us, anything you think that the people of Mount Carmel should know and that we should deliver the news over our YouTube channel, please let us know. Talk to Christos or I, send an email, or we're pretty easy to get a hold of. We're not that busy, I guess, right? And we love doing stuff like this. We love talking about Mount Carmel, and we're gonna close with just letting you know to please keep the Slowinski family in your thoughts and prayers. They had a pretty tragic event this week, and we met as a school yesterday morning to kind of pray for Mason, who's a junior. His little brother ended up passing away, so just please keep him in your thoughts and prayers. And there is a GoFundMe up there.
Yep.
Actually, story. Yesterday we had a game. And so I looked at my phone at like 4 o'clock, and they raised $45,000 out of the $25,000 goal. And I go, wow, it's pretty impressive. And then I checked after my game around 7 o'clock, and they were upwards of like $70,000. So it's really wholesome to see the community rally around, a family in a time of need like this.
Yeah, I think actually Matt said about 120, if I'm correct right now. So that's great to see. We'll send our thoughts and prayers to Mason and his family. Give him all the support. Yeah.
Yeah. So just, we're praying for you, Mason. We're praying for your family. And this has been the first official episode of Built on Dante. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you have anything we want to talk about, we will talk about it. Thank you guys so much, and good night, Chicago. Thank you.